Because they come out here with
Seagulls. Wait a minute, I'm looking straight at it.
I know.
a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
The other really cool thing is that
Circle.
Yeah.
when you look at yourself, and you find, I'm good at this, I'm good at that, whatever the different things are. Where your power comes
Circle.
is where you put all of your things together that maybe don't seem like they fit.
Cross.
Yep.
When you put stuff together that seems like it doesn't fit together, you create your own space. And that space is needed.
Cross.
A couple years ago, I watched an episode on Gaia TV called Becoming Superhuman by Joe Dispenza. And in this episode, he interviews a woman who teaches children how to see blindfolded. This blew my mind. What an amazing thing to be able to do. Something that was really interesting to me, but felt really out of reach at the same time. And then about 3 months ago, I started seeing things on the Psy Games in 2025 and interviewed one of the Psy Games champions as well. And they use a lot of the Mindfold in the Psy Games. And this got me thinking, more and more people are doing this. Is this something that I could actually learn and develop on my own? And then I found Alex Stephan, the man who I'm interviewing in this episode of Project Beyond. And he teaches how to see through a blindfold, as well as how to begin moving things with your mind and other amazing energetic shifts without having to meditate for hours and hours every day or become one with the universe or anything like that. He brings it down to a completely tangible level. So much so that not only did I begin to see through a blindfold, but so did my son. This is so easy, and I cannot wait to share this with you so that you can begin opening and discovering your superhuman abilities as well. So my name is Emma. Welcome to this episode on Project Beyond. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, and we'll just jump straight into it. And I'm really excited to hear your story. I found you on Facebook. I'm not sure, it wasn't very long ago, just a few weeks ago. And I think we have a few friends in common that were did you do some of the Psy Games?
I wasn't at the Psy Games. I was set to speak at it, but then I wasn't able to because I was in Australia and I couldn't leave
Okay.
at the time.
Right, okay. Because I think we have friends in common that were in the Psy Games. So I'm like, oh, who is this person? And you were doing some reels on teaching the Mindfold. And I've been trying that for ages and I just could not get it. And I watched through all of your, I think, 12 little reels, and I started getting it, and my son's got it, and it's been amazing. So I'm super, super excited with that. But tell me your story. Like, how did you get here? How were you somebody that grew up with these abilities? Is it something that you've developed? Go ahead and share your story.
Yeah, so I kind of did grow up with these abilities. Thankfully to my really like because of my parents. When I was young, I grew up in Canada, and pretty sure this is a thing all over with garage sales and stuff. And yeah, so they'd go on weekend garage sales and they'd like try to find stuff to whatever they be into. But one of the big things that they were really into was books. And you can get like, books for 5 cents, 10 cents, especially what, 30 years ago or however long that was.
Right.
And they've come back with all sorts of books. And among the huge variety of books were also ones that I was really interested in, and that was stuff like ones on ESP, extrasensory perception,
Mhm.
remote viewing, healing, telepathy, all of these, weird and like wonderful topics. And early on, like early as in like 6, 7, 8 years of age, um, I was reading some of these books and I was practicing with my mom, with my dad. So I got into it quite early, and uh, that interest continued into my teenage years, until I had like a proper telekinesis experience. I mean, I've had previous experiences where I did, healings and remote viewings, and these things were all correct. But it was when I did telekinesis that it really kind of, changed things quite a bit for me.
Mhm.
Until finally, you go into university, and because I got into business, into finance, it really shaped my mind into more of a materialist view, and people weren't open to that sort of stuff, and it somehow it just kind of like faded in the background,
Mhm.
and it's quite sad, unfortunately, because I picked it up very early on.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it took me about 10 years, but then I finally got back to it.
Amazing. That's a little bit similar to my story. It's something that I grew up with as well. I had all different types of abilities, out-of-body experiences, lucid dreams, seeing ghosts, alien abductions. I had made a psi wheel when I was little. No idea who taught it to me, no idea where the information came from. And I would just play with it and make it spin and do all these crazy things um, at a very young age and really all the way through my teenage years into my 20s. And then things kind of just started going downhill and then gone. So I've been on that journey to really gain everything back and relearn, but relearn in a way that um kind of makes more sense, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
where I just like I know what I'm doing now instead of just kind of like having this ability and you're just like, wow, I can like make things move around and no idea what's going on and having no understanding of it. So that in itself has been an amazing journey and really exciting. So I'm that's cool that you are on a similar journey as well.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about, so where I'm at now is very different, obviously, than 10, 20 years ago or so, in that my my university education, my undergraduate studies and my graduate studies were very math heavy, quantitative and statistics and so forth. So it kind of developed a bit of like, instead of looking at the world just, in a necessarily materialist view, I was actually looking at things from a probability, and that anything is really possible. It's just what's the likelihood of things happening.
Right.
And that helped a lot in terms of like being able to, yes, I got more materialist, but I started being able to be open
Hmm.
to anything really as being a
Right.
possibility. And it also kind of shaped the way I was thinking, so that later on, a number of years ago now, when I got back into hypnosis, I started studying hypnosis professionally and doing
Mhm.
hypnotherapy work and change work with people. I had a way of thinking that was very focused on being efficient and effective and results based.
Right.
So that assisted me a lot in developing my own practice, my own capabilities as a change worker. And then when I got further into training and learning how to train people and coach them and develop them, it really aided me in finding, okay, how do I train people or coach people or develop people in the most efficient and effective manner? Because that's a lot of what, business is about, or about um, taking that pragmatic way of thinking and bringing it to this esoteric, in quotations, field.
Mhm. Right.
And yeah, although my own development has been very good since, um, the development that I see on our trainings with people that have would just start is that stuff is really crazy.
Yeah. When did you start doing these workshops with other people?
It was while I was apprenticing in Melbourne in Australia,
Wow.
and this would have been about 2 years ago. And
Oh, okay.
it started off as telekinesis trainings,
Right.
I wasn't even planning to do this. It was because apprenticing to be a trainer, and my mentor told me, okay, you need to do a training so that you have a context for the stuff that you're learning. Like you need to do something. And I had just kind of gone back into the more, you know, weird and wonderful stuff. Like I started getting back into shamanism. Shamanism was my first real foray back into
Mhm.
things after hypnosis. And then some more magical stuff and so on and so forth. And then finally, when my mentor was like, do a training, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what to do it on. I guess I do really like telekinesis and I'm kind of getting back into it. I wonder now, with what I know about hypnosis and about belief changes and doing this kind of stuff, I wonder if I can train people to develop faster than they normally could.
Amazing.
So if you're at all familiar with the scene, with the telekinesis scene, like people generally you do the side wheel and you do the side wheel and you do the side wheel
Yep.
and like yeah, it takes a
Again and
long
again
time
and
to actually get
again.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to see if some stuff could happen faster with
Right.
with belief changes, with the stuff that I've learned. And yeah, things happened way, way, way faster.
Amazing. What kind of belief changes are you shifting in people? I'm a hypnotherapist as well, so this is really fascinating to me.
Um, Everything, because the this is like a foundational belief, this idea of like how we expect, like
Hmm.
things to work. Like I totally have full expectation that my finger is not going to pass through the vase, you know. I think it's
Right.
good to test every now and then to make sure.
Yeah.
Um, but we have these conditionings for decades,
Hmm.
and because of this, that shapes the way we see the world and how we perceive reality.
Yep.
So with the trainings, you can create moments of awe or
Mm.
surprise. And those moments are key moments to be able to um, provide the unconscious mind or even the conscious mind with some candy, but the unconscious mind with a new way of seeing things and new ways
Mm.
of believing beliefs about things and the potential of things. So that's kind of there's all sorts of stuff. I use metaphors, I use stories, I use surprises, um, examples, and
Hmm.
yeah, just create something there organic to help transform people.
That's amazing. And I've not watched a ton of your videos, but I have watched a few of them. The trainings that you do, it seems like it's not just a side wheel. I mean, you do all sorts of stuff with the TK. Um, and one thing that I found interesting was that like one of the first, and correct me if I'm wrong, again, I've not watched a ton of your stuff yet. But one of like the first things that you do with people with like the sigh wheel is you have them blow on it and you have them like actually make wind currents with their hands because it helps to teach them like, yes, these are energy currents, right? What does this look like? What does that feel like? And it helps to decipher the differences between like that natural airflow and something a little bit different. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. Um, a lot of people when they play around with the side wheel, myself included, when I was getting started, it's because of those conditioned beliefs, we are very quick without even realizing it. We immediately assume, okay, this is wind, or we're looking for some other factor that is causing this.
Hmm.
Is it wind? Is it the heat from the hands? Is it static electricity? Is it all of these different factors? So this is so it's a double-edged sword because these abilities, I don't believe they're actually skills. I don't believe they're, abilities that you develop. I believe it's actually an ability or skill of removing beliefs that you have, entering a new reality, entering a new perspective. Because I have plenty of examples, my own observations of myself, but also of my students, that people are able to do some incredible things, way more than what they're training at. If like if the time just like requires it, like there's something that's needed for that,
Right.
or there's a moment of fun and curiosity, and it just comes out. So believing that it's wind is great because then you can do it more easily because your mind is latching on to this, oh, well, it's not me, it's the wind doing it. And you're creating a reason for it to happen, which is the wind.
Right.
Now, it's possible that you might be affecting it directly with your mind and there isn't wind. It's also possible that you might be bringing about wind in the atmosphere and creating and having that happen that way.
Mhm.
But that exercise, that first exercise where there's actually so I've been playing around with the order of the first few exercises. There's a couple of them, three of them. One is the one that you said, so moving your hands around to see so that you can actually physically see what is it like when there's wind moving and how is like the side wheel moving actually. Because that's
Right.
important to recognize. Because then when you see it, you know when it's you and you know when it's the atmosphere or somebody else.
Mhm.
The other exercise that I often, very often start with is I have everybody, we put the side wheel and I have everybody just watch it. Like, and I say, do not intend to move it, just watch what's happening. And I tell them, I really make a point of this. And I say, listen to what I'm saying, guys. This is the first and the last time that you will see the side wheel moving the way it's moving now, behaving the way it's behaving now. Because after this moment, you will have developed the ability, the skill, whatever it is, and you will never see it move like this again. I get people to even record on their phone what it's like, how it is the first few minutes.
Right.
So they have that reference point because 5 days later or even the following day, it's never going to be like that again. But your memory, it's you always reconstruct, you know, as a hypnotherapist, you know, that
Yep.
memory is reconstructed so easily.
Yeah.
So I do that. And the other exercise that sometimes I switch with and I found to be really useful is I start them right off the bat with under a jar. So they're
Mhm.
moving a sideway under a jar. And we did this in the last training, and it was great because after that, it basically proved to everyone that this is real, that they're
Right.
doing it. So when we took off the jars, they were just playing around, they're moving their hands. They didn't care if it was wind, they didn't care if it was anything else. They were just
Mhm.
having fun because now that belief is, I know I'm doing it, and then they can just be free and do it.
Right. Yeah. So I've got just my homemade side wheel here, just with a piece of paper that I've put in the
Nice.
jar. It's like an upside down pasta container or something.
Hmm.
Um, and I can typically move it with the lid off, but I cannot move it with the lid on yet. So for myself and maybe other people, like what is a trick to get it moving under the glass, if
Okay.
that's something that you can share.
Yeah, I've got the perfect trick. Can
Okay.
you if can you bring that into view?
Yeah.
Perfect. Is the glass cylinder, is it able to spin if you move it? Or is it like kind of stuck because of the rubber?
No, it's kind of stuck into the rubber.
Okay. So it's great if you have one that can move easily.
Okay.
With something like that though, what something else that you can do is and if you have something like maybe a book or something that you can put underneath the jar to give a little bit of space underneath.
Okay. I mean, I can
I saw a friend of mine, an Instagram friend of mine, First House Rahu, his handle is he uses chopsticks on either side.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Let me see. I've got I've got dowsing rods.
Yeah. Why not?
They're
Yeah, that's
nice
good.
and thin. I
And just
can,
place them on the side, yeah, so that you can place the jar over and have that space underneath. Because this gives your mind then like, okay, well, you know what? It can be possible somehow.
right.
And as you work with that, and as you get used to moving that, and again, it's a good idea to always record at the beginning so you actually see where you start and you
Hmm.
can prove to yourself that, oh, it's not just that there's wind now and something else is
Right.
happening, but it's actually you. and then slowly remove, maybe like take one off, and then start doing it
Okay.
with just space, a little bit of space.
Right. So get it to spin with the two and then uh,
Yeah.
go backwards with the steps. Okay.
But what I would really recommend is, like, with that one, you could probably take the needle off, put it on a piece of eraser, put it on your table,
Mm-hmm.
and have the jar. If you can, could you take the jar off and just put it on the table, and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, no, actually on the table so we can see. Yeah, perfect. So what I do is I'll move it, I'll rotate the jar with the side wheel inside. Maybe even it might even need a bit more at the beginning.
Okay. I've got an idea. Let me. Hmm.
Yeah, perfect. So the principle behind this is that it's always easier to move things that are already in movement. And you're
I
also
like.
making use of, yeah,
Okay.
there you go. And you want to move it like, quite vigorously, like so that you actually get it to spin, you know? And then just stop and see, let it, hopefully it spins. And then that means maybe like do a bit more of a faster rotation. So you can actually see it's not very easy to spin it.
Oop, I think I hit
Okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah. So something like that, where it's actually getting some rotation. You might have to
Right.
if you go from the top and like do a 180, try to do a whole 180.
Yikes.
But the purpose of this is when you do that, it's going to start
Right.
moving, and you're going to start showing your mind now, okay, this is what I want to happen. This is what I'm expecting to happen. I want it to move like this.
Right.
It's also easier to move because it's also already in motion. So it'll be easier for
Yep.
you to influence that. And
Right.
then
Okay.
thirdly, you're giving yourself a reason to believe that it can move. Because
Mm-hmm.
the first few times you're going to be like, well, it's not me. It's because I'm moving the glass. And
Right.
this is really important. So this is what I call the uncertainty bubble, which I make use of a lot in my trainings. You want to
Mm-hmm.
create a big enough bubble of reality where these different potentially contradictory realities exist. One reality is I am telekinetic and I can affect this side wheel under the glass. The other reality is I'm not telekinetic and it's because I'm moving this glass that the side wheel is moving.
Right.
So have this, you don't know when you do that, you don't know exactly which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to collapse into either of them. So by collapse, I mean you don't want to prove to yourself it's either one or the other.
Okay.
Because if you consider that the way this works, and this is my theory, this is my model, I think this is correct, that it's about belief, not about skill,
Mm-hmm.
then you keep this as open as possible because when it's moving, even if it's, you think it's physical reality or not, but if it's moving, that still means you're actually training your ability to make that or to see it, to predict it to move.
Right.
And after enough repetitions, what you're going to start to notice is you move it less and less, and it's still going as much as before.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, you're going to move it and it'll move in the right direction. And then later on, it's going to move the other way, the opposite
Right.
way. And it would have never done that before. And then you know that it's definitely you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Are there different materials? I've always just made mine with paper, but I see like it's quite popular to start out with like tin foil. Is there a reason? I mean, obviously one is lighter than the other, but are there other reasons behind different materials that you use?
Definitely, it's about lightness. It's
Okay.
much easier to be, tinfoil is a lot lighter than paper.
Hmm.
Um, I think it might be 4 or 5 times lighter than paper, if not more even actually, depending on
Right.
the kind of the grain of paper that you use.
Hmm.
So it's much more susceptible to things, and especially if you're starting off with a jar, I'd
Hmm.
recommend starting off with tin foil.
Okay. Okay. We've been practicing with the Eggly, is it the Eggly wheel?
Eagerly, yeah, eagerly
Eagly
will.
wheel, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been a lot of fun, and I can get that going really, really well, and changing directions and speeding up and slowing down. And I was doing this thing where like I would take one hand and move it like this, and it would go really, really fast, and then I'd come back in and go like this, and it would like slow down and go the other direction, and I was kind of like doing this thing back and forth with it. And the second I put it under glass, though, nothing. So there is a mindset of it doesn't work if my energy can't reach it through the glass. So is there a mindset? I mean, obviously what you're teaching me here, but is there another like block that you see come up a lot with people, or like what's an easy way to kind of get through that? Because for me, like when I'm like getting it going really, really well, and then I put the glass on it, my confidence is just like done. Oh, I'm not doing it. It's just the wind or whatever, and you just kind of hit that rock bottom.
Have have you tried blowing on the eagerly wheel or seeing if wind moves it like the way it does when you're
A
spinning it?
little bit, yeah. It's extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
Really
And
sensitive.
does it spin the same way as when you're using energy or whatever it is that you're
Oh,
using?
very different than when I'm doing the energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So one reason I like the eagerly wheel, um, is that compared to a side wheel, it
Hmm.
you can clearly see when it's being moved by wind because it like wobbles. It doesn't spin. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yep.
catch wind.
Right.
So knowing that, you know, well, okay, it's definitely you doing it, especially if you can
Mhm.
bring it up to like 20 or 24, 25, in the higher numbers.
9 is my highest so far.
It's still really good. You can pick it up really easily, but I think a big
Yeah.
deal would be if you get over the block that
Mhm.
um is this actually me doing it?
Right.
And you asked if there's an easy way. So hypnosis is a good one. I use a lot of hypnosis.
Hmm.
On the trainings, people develop really fast. So people are moving cans, by the fourth, fifth, sixth day.
That's
Yeah, people are doing
incredible.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's also the atmosphere of, you're doing this with 20, 30, 40 other people.
Yeah.
And when somebody levels up, you level up.
Hmm.
And something that my trainer, my mentor has really, taught me and instilled in me is the effect of modeling and the modeling state and how important and useful that is for this kind of stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Um, so with your workshops and trainings that you do hypnosis sessions in each of the trainings then, I guess. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do some group hypnosis. I'll do, like I mentioned, stories and metaphors and
Hmm.
other bits. I get people into a modeling state a lot. We use that a lot, and that helps. Especially because somebody's always going to be, everybody, somebody's always going to like have a massive improvement or development, and then when they do, if other people are in a modeling state to be able to receive that and to learn that and pick that up, then the rest of the group is going to get it. Like one person will get it, then two people will get it, then
Yeah.
another five will get off the two
Yeah.
new people, and it just continues.
Right. Absolutely. So the other thing that I've been seeing in your videos that you're doing is sticking things to the walls, and I've
Yeah,
never seen that before. Can you explain? Because it's similar, it's TK, but it's a completely different modality.
yeah.
What is that?
So TK is about moving objects at a distance,
Hmm.
and telekinesis, and then psychokinesis or PK is about affecting matter, influencing matter. So it's a subset, and we're limited by our imagination with what we can do. There's no, I was sticking things to the ceiling as well. Like it's not, um, It just depends on what we imagine, what we believe we can do, and that's our limitation. There was one of the students on our last training in Sedona. He already had a lot of interesting things happening, and we called him the milk guy, because there's a story that wasn't told by him initially, is by another student who was with him at the time, and she witnessed him um, grabbing his milk jug from the fridge that was kind of empty, and him shaking
Mhm.
it and then filling it up to like halfway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like I would have never thought about that
Hmm.
as a thing, but it really comes to our own self-imposed limitations of what we think is possible.
Yeah.
And sticking things to walls, I love because it's really, really easy and everybody can do it. Like, everybody can do all of these things, but this one people can do really early on, especially if they see it.
No,
And there's
interesting.
that video on Instagram that I've shared, and there's a bunch of people that have messaged me and have commented, "Thank you so much. I've done it on my first try or my third try or my fifth try." It's like, and now I
Wow.
have my friends doing it, my kids are doing it. This is what we need.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Can you explain the process? Like, what is happening when something is sticking to a wall?
What's happening in my mind or in reality?
Maybe both. Like, what's the process to make that happen? Like, you're not, there's not a sticky thing on the end, on the other side of the money, and you're sticking it to the wall, and like, there's energy, there's something energetic happening with that. So, in the mindset, and then in the energy exchange or whatever, what's going on with that?
So the way I used to start my trainings before in Australia was, I would say that, okay, I call this a training, but this isn't a training. This is an exploration about who you are and your own beliefs and your own skills and abilities and how to do this. Now, it started that way because I wanted to make it clear from the beginning that everybody's process is going to be different.
Hmm.
And it's up to them to involve themselves and to do it and to find out what works for them. I can only provide guidance and provide principles on things that I've observed, but the way I stick things to walls is different from the way somebody else does it. And the way I do it isn't going to work for other people, but the broad thing of how I do it is I just have the intention for it to happen.
To just stick.
And just yeah, to just stick. Yeah. And and there's expectation around it as well. Like
Okay.
you need to have the expectation that it's going to happen. And that might mean that you might have to do it quite a few times. So there was a lady that reached out to me and she's like, how do I get this to happen? Because I can't get it to stick. And I asked, okay, well, how many times have you tried it? And she said, well, I've done about two decks. Like, I've done about 2 minutes of it, 3 minutes. And I'm like, you're asking on advice on how to, change reality. Like, this is a
Right.
superpower almost, like this is not something that, and it's
Maybe a
like, oh,
little
I
bit.
did it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not the
Wow.
first time I did it, I went through like 400 or 500 cards to get it to happen. And when it finally did happen, it was only a little bit, only a tiny little bit. And I
Hmm.
have to keep doing it and keep doing it to start to increase that likelihood of that it would work. Like I have, for better or worse, I have a very strong foundation of my current reality. So that means it's not easy for me to enter new realities where these things are possible. It's not
Mm,
as easy,
right,
not as easy.
right. So, in your mindset, when you're doing it, do you imagine the object kind of like melting into the wall or like magnetic or just, is there anything in particular or just like stick?
Um, the way I do it is just stick, and
Okay.
I just imagine, I'm just pushing it forward and I'm saying stick.
Hmm.
But I know people, a lot of kids, and I think kids are really, really good at these kinds of things, and modeling them is really good. A lot of
Yeah.
kids ask the item to stick,
Oh,
or they ask the wall if it could hold the item. And
Oh.
yeah, it's very, very different way of doing it.
Hmm.
I know Dahlia does a lot of stuff with like as a magnetic force.
Okay. Yep.
And for example, there's a video of her, she's doing it on the fridge with a few things, and I don't use magnetic force, and I find it a little bit harder on the fridge. You know,
Mm.
I haven't gone it too many times on the fridge, but she's done it. Although even so it took her, she said, 45 minutes to get that first one to stick.
Wow.
So people see us doing stuff, but they're only seeing the final result to be able to give inspiration, like, hey, you can do this. But nobody's gonna watch a 45-minute Instagram post reel of like trying to get
Right.
this
And keep
to
following
work.
again and again. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, that's so fun. Um, One of the questions that seems to be coming up frequently in a lot of these interviews that I'm doing, 'cause I'm just meeting and connecting with some amazing people who have amazing I've been saying abilities, but I feel like that's not even the right word to even say anymore because everyone can do this stuff. Um, but how can you integrate it in an everyday life event? Like by developing these abilities, how can somebody use that to better just their everyday life?
You should people should could be using this and should be using this with everything that they're doing. So, for example, prior to us getting on this call, I set a very clear intention that whatever message I need to get across to certain people gets that message across, and those people are able to receive it. So I
Hmm.
have the intention that I will be able to, whatever you want however you want to frame it, channel or, just allow the right things to flow to the right people,
Yeah.
and to the people that need it and to hear the right things. But I'm drinking some coffee here. Um, prior to getting the cup, I set the intention, okay, I want this to balance and hydrate me and make me feel better.
Mm.
You go out for a drive to get groceries. I'm setting the intention for the drive to be relaxing, smooth, and free of any danger.
Right.
So, our entire day is filled with doings, things, we're doing things. How
Hmm.
conscious are we about those things that we're doing?
Yeah.
And all of those things are opportunities to be using our intention to manifest better. And then also in terms of blindfold vision and mindsight and stuff,
Hmm.
that's just accessing information that's outside of us. That's all it is. It's not, you're not actually seeing stuff. You're not seeing stuff. I mean, it feels like you're seeing because that's how your mind translates whatever it is, or the brain translates the information.
Right.
But it's just information that's non-local, or that is local, but not through your normal five senses. So
Hmm.
how many decisions do we make a day, on stuff? Like,
Right.
should I make an offer on this, like big decisions as well, should I make an offer on a house? Should I buy this car? Should I go to this place? Should I speak to this person? There's all of these things, and it all plays an important part, I think, and it can play if we choose it to.
Right. If you're curious about what I am drinking, I am having the cacao and collagen by Ancient and Brave. I do not start my mornings without this. I have at least one or two, sometimes 3 cups because it is so good. I've had such a hard time finding a good collagen because I feel like it just tastes weird. But this just tastes like powdered cacao and it's so delicious. I've been drinking this for over 2 years now, and I am only just now this week finally an affiliate. Like this one's already gone. You can see I do actually drink this. I like a nice big scoop. You just add it to your mug. There we go. And it comes with this super cute little scoop that I just keep right in here. I like to sweeten mine up with a little maple syrup because I'm a Vermonter and I sweeten everything with maple syrup. Only the real stuff. Come on, people. And then your hot water from your kettle. And then just give it a stir, and it completely dissolves. And it's so, so yummy and so good for you. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like 462. So I'm looking great for my age. But no, in reality, I'll be 42 this year. But I've been drinking so much collagen, and it is amazing. So then I just top it off with farm fresh milk. How adorable is this? The cute benefits of living in England. This gets delivered straight to my door. And then just give it a stir, and look how delicious that is. So if you want 20% off your first single order, I'll post the link below in this description. Do it. It's so good, and they have so many other products that I'm just completely obsessed with, but we'll have to tell you another time. Enjoy. I definitely am going to. So the Mindsight stuff is really fascinating. Can you explain more about really what that is? Because I think there's a lot of confusion with Mindsight and just intuitive perception. So what's the difference between those? And then if you can just really go into like what Mindsight is, how you can develop it, where it starts.
Yeah, so first I'd like to just preface it by saying I'm not a scientist, I'm not a researcher, I have not tested these in the in a lab or under any sort of you know defined, constrained conditions. These are just my observations and my theories and my model of how this works. And I say that because one thing I really advocate for is to always be uh, discerning for the information that you receive and the beliefs that you adopt, because they can really affect, as I've seen, how we operate in the world. So just want everybody to be aware of that. And here's what I believe. So we have five senses. I mean, we have more than five senses, but let's just say we have five senses. So we have the input that we can get from the body, from the physical body.
Right.
Great. Okay. Now, people, when they do mindsight, they actually see stuff visually.
Mhm.
A lot of people might believe then that they're actually seeing things, maybe through their eyes and stuff and through the mask. And what tends to happen if you start to believe that, then you're limiting yourself because you won't be able to see through a wall. Or you'll think that you can only see stuff from your perspective here. And what I mean by that is I technically wouldn't be able to see what's around somewhere else.
Right.
But that's not the case, because blindfold vision is actually just remote viewing, only local remote viewing.
Wow.
So first we need to like establish these because everybody's still coming from a physical reality kind of like perception. Like, okay, of course it makes sense. You're seeing something, so it must be here, and so you can't see around there, you can't see around there. But no, that's not the case. And also, blindfold vision isn't just about vision. You can have the sense of touch of about something that you want to identify, or the sense of smell, or the taste, or uh, auditorily, or anything.
Right.
So to revise first the beliefs that we have about it is where I would start is to be aware that you have the general input that you can get from your physical body, but we also have access to information about anything from anywhere. And that information is information. It's not yet coded into something for us. It's not yet translated into something for us to be able to use.
Right.
And that's the skill that we're developing, is being able to grab that information out there and then like grab it, bring it into our consciousness, and then decode that into the sense that we wish to perceive it in. So it could be visual, it could be
Hmm.
kinesthetic, it could be olfactory, it could be conceptual as well.
Right.
So when we understand that, now we can make sense of things because, okay, now it's actually, yes, I have the freedom to do it in any way I want. And that is what we do on the trainings. We develop, we don't start with the visual sense. We actually start with Dahlia starts with the kinesthetic sense or the auditorial sense. You hear
Okay.
the difference in colors, you know,
Right.
you smell the difference in colors, and then at the end you see the difference. You look to see them through windows in the masks.
Hmm. Right. That's fascinating. Can you explain a little bit about the windows and what that is?
Yeah, so windows are like so you'll have I don't have a mask here. You put the mask on, and naturally there will be like light that'll be coming in from around the mask.
Hmm.
Depending on how tight the mask is, how it does or does not contour to your face, there'll be like areas where there will be light coming in. For some people,
Hmm.
it'll be very, very little though. For most people, it'll be very, very little.
Right.
Um, those are the windows that then develop into actual like blindfold vision and like actual visual input that you see where you're seeing through the mask.
Hmm.
And it's again, it's about that creating that uncertainty bubble that's wide enough where the mask isn't on tight enough, so I'm seeing some stuff, but it's okay. I'll just keep focusing on that, and those windows start to expand. Hmm,
Right.
is the mask changing in its form, so I'm seeing more stuff
Right.
physically, or am I actually now seeing with my mind sight?
Hmm.
And
Right.
you don't want to collapse either reality. You don't want to check so like, oh, which one is it? And a lot of people want to do it like, which one is it? Am I actually seeing or am I not? Because when you fully this happens, people find out, oh no, this I am actually seeing, and then it shuts off, and then they're back to like the tiny windows that they had when they started.
Hmm. Oh goodness.
Um, so it's there's a lot of finesse in like how you introduce this and how you also surprise people that, hey, you actually just read, you saw that shape, but you saw it through me because I was holding a hat, you saw through my back. So we
Right.
will do that, you know, and you
Wow.
won't know when it happens. And that's developing the mindset ability.
Hmm. That's amazing. So as I mentioned, I've been practicing it a little bit, and when I started, I was doing the flashlight, like kind of around the edges, trying to find the window. And I was noticing light coming in, but at like weird angles. So if I had the flashlight over here, the light would be coming in over here, and things
Yeah.
that just didn't logically make any sense. And then I was able to have a window after practicing and practicing and practicing for hours. I had a window open up that was kind of like over here, but it was like looking through frosted glass. So I couldn't see shapes of any kind. And if I took the light and shone it on the objects, we've got like colored blocks. So I'd shine the light on the blocks, then I could see the light color reflect back. So I was able to see color at that point, and that was like I was so excited with that. Um, and then I practiced again and it opened up even further and that like the frosted glass went away and it was just like seeing with my eyes. But I noticed that my window was just kind of like moving every time I'd go in to try it. Is that normal?
Yeah, totally normal. So windows are going to be move, they're going to shift sizes, they're going to change. As you keep using them, what you want to do is you basically want to get them to merge.
Okay.
And you want them to also kind of get them to a place that is comfortable because like for me sometimes when I'm first starting off, I have like a window that's like really like it forces my eyes in a very
Yeah.
uncomfortable position.
Yep. Yep. That's where a lot of mine have been. And by the end of the day, I'm just like, oh my God, my like my head hurts so bad.
Yeah,
My eyes
yeah.
are so strained. Um, and then so I've also noticed that my windows are in different places with different masks as well. Is that also like a normal thing to be experiencing?
Yeah, of course. So don't forget, some of these windows might be like physically because of the mask, and then your
Right?
brain is going to readjust things in such a way to adapt to the reality
Mhm.
that you're in.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so I know Dahlia, who's really, really good at this. She's
Hmm.
having her windows appear and disappear sometimes depending on like how her mood, like how stressed out she might be or
Right.
how she's feeling. So
Yeah.
um windows moving is completely normal and
Okay.
to be expected.
Right.
And that's also the biggest confirmation that you have that this is real and it's actually happening. Just try not to think about it too much because the
Hmm.
more you try to explain it, like, oh, I'm shining the light here, but I'm seeing it here. How is that
Yeah. Yeah.
possible? Can it be?
Right.
You don't want to go there. It's
Yeah.
just accept it and like be in the now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One, so I got like we've been using other masks just off Amazon, and then I went ahead and I bought the actual like Mindfold masks that everyone's using just to kind of see what the difference is. And with that, I'm getting windows like here and here, like they're both just out of like
Hmm.
my straight vision. So I'm like, well, do I look this way at this one or do I look this? Like, I just want them to come a little bit closer so I can do that. So how do you make them merge then? Because that's exactly what I need to happen with this one.
Try to if you shine a flashlight, you get anything here?
It it kind of like I don't know if it's reflecting this way or what, but the light it comes up here.
When you flash it here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then use that space in front with
Okay.
colors and cards and just allow that to just play around with that and it will move. If you're really not getting anything, you can just loosen up the mask a bit
Okay.
to allow some amount of like actual physical light in.
Right.
Because from that, you know, you'll see a little bit, but then pretty soon it's gonna actually expand your actual
Hmm.
mindsight, and then you'll start to see more, and you'll be able to start seeing shapes, letters,
Yeah.
words, like entire images and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I was able to get to that was it last week? I started with colors and then I moved to the Zener cards and I was doing all the shapes and then I moved to images and I was getting all the images. And then my son was playing Geometry Dash with his on.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's amazing and it's so good and it's just he's incredible with it. He's learning so fast. But he's like, "Am I just peeking?" I'm like, "You're not. Like, stop questioning it. You're not." And he's like, "But just check. Like, is it all?" I'm like, "It's all touching your skin everywhere. Like, just keep going with it." But he loves it. It's really fascinating.
It's isn't that crazy that even at his age,
Yeah.
he's wondering like, you know, am I peaking? Like
Yeah.
he's we get conditioned at such a young age
No.
about how reality is.
Yeah, I know, I know. And I'm not one of those parents. I'm like, everything you can fly if you want to fly, but in society and school and all of that, it's so hard. I have to shake them sometimes, like, stop it. We got to
Yeah.
go further this way and just believe in all the magic and all the possibilities of everything. He just kind of looks at me like I'm the crazy mom now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's but they get it. They get it and they get it fast. And
Very
you
fast, yeah.
should get him to do the stick things onto walls.
We're gonna try that, I think, tomorrow because that looks a lot of fun and he would
And
like
it's
that.
easy. And he'll pick it up and then it'll make him it'll open up his mind about other things as well.
Yeah. We used to do I was homeschooled, but I briefly went to private school, a Christian private school, and my teacher had gone on this like spiritual journey in, I don't know where, Japan, Tibet or something. And she came back and she taught our class how to make chi balls, like the energy
Hmm.
balls. And
Hmm.
I'm like, this is amazing. This is witchcraft. And I loved it, where everyone else was just like, this is really weird. And I've made this huge energy ball, and she came over to me and she's like, this is stronger than the Tibetan teacher who just taught this to me. And she's like blown away. She's like, you need to keep doing this. So like as a child, I'm like, yay, like this is my superpower. So I would just play with these chi balls all the time. And when my son was born, I taught him that. And so we would we call them fireballs because it's more fun for him. So we would throw these like fireballs at each other. And he'd like, if we're at the store and my back is turned, he'd throw one at me and I'd be like, hey, I felt that. And like, so he's really
Cool.
good with that stuff. And he learns really, really quickly. But he's also in that age where like nothing is cool anymore, and that just I don't know, it's hard to kind of get him out of that, but I think it helps that like supernatural or not supernatural, Stranger Things has come out, and like
Mm.
more kids like, oh, could this be real? This is cool. It's superpowers and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun.
I'd also recommend like just trying all sorts of stuff. Like on the training, we magnetized metals, forks and knives with needles, and
Yeah.
it's really easy. You can magnetize stuff. You can magnetize things that aren't magnetizable. You can generate static electricity and move things with that.
Hmm.
We were pushing needles through objects. Initially, my plan was Dahlia wanted to push needles through like actually pierce objects. I was thinking, I reckon we can get a needle to just go through something without leaving a trace.
Ooh.
We weren't able to do that. I'll save you the but we did have everybody or most people were able to push a needle through a table, like butter, like it just went in and then you couldn't take it out. It was really, really,
What?
we had pliers that we needed to take out. And so one one of our students, he pushed the needle through the table, got stuck. As he was taking this out, and before this exercise, we had just done some teleporting of pennies.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell me more
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so we teleported pennies, other things teleported,
What?
but there's context here. So
Yeah.
things are acting weird, really weird. And he's got the pliers and he's like pulling out the needle and it's really stuck in it. He's pulling it out and he pulls it out. And as that's happening, a second needle falls out.
Oh
That
my gosh.
like that he didn't push in. Like it just came out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
And after that, also during the same exercise, so everybody's like, oh my God, and everybody's trying to figure out and understand what's going on. There's another one of our students. We have these water trays, so we had people like do some stuff on water tray on baking trays filled with water,
Yep.
and he's got a fork, and he's like, I want to magnetize this needle that's in the tray and lift it out with the fork. Like, okay, they've already done magnetizations. This is normal.
Hmm.
So he's going with the fork, and he's like gets it in the water because the needle's in the water, and as he's pulling it out of the water, a second needle drops out again.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And
What?
then yes, it's unbelievable. And then we had some other instances of things duplicating. Like there was a lady who she had just taken one of her pills. She needs to take a pill. She had it in her pocket. She takes it. She puts her hand back in her pocket, and there's another pill, a second one. Then there's another instance with a fork that is a plastic fork that has one of its prongs ripped off. And
Hmm.
it's like clearly ripped off in a very specific way because you can see like there's like a little bit of a point and then it goes down.
Right.
And over lunch, people find three of the exact same forks with the exact same breaks on them. And Dali also says about how she saw one that was like that, but she didn't pick it up. So
That's
There's all
so
these
weird.
weird occurrences. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Super
gosh.
weird.
Tell me about the teleporting pennies. That's amazing. How, what? Tell me everything.
Yeah. So the teleporting pennies. This first happened in Ogden when we did it last year. And I think it was on the fourth day or something, or the fifth day. No, it was definitely on the fifth day. Um, I said, okay, so okay, now we're gonna do a new exercise. I got a bunch of pennies, it was like 100 or so. Like we had one of those, wrapped things that we undone.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
put them in a red cup. And I'm at the front of the room and I have the red cup in front of me. I'm like, okay, everyone. So I want I want all of you guys to just come up, um, come up and grab a penny from this red cup, put it in your pocket, and then sit back down and remember, really remember what happened so that you really feel it. You have this memory, this kinesthetic memory of what it feels like to walk up, to move, to grab the smell of the coin. You have that nasty, that copper smell.
Mhm. Yep.
And everybody does it. I get them to repeat that about 3 times in total. And I explicitly say, okay, do not check your pockets anymore for how many pennies you have. Do not check how many pennies you have in your pockets anymore. You've all picked up three though, right? Everybody, yes, we've all picked up three. Okay. When I hit this gong on three, I want everybody to just imagine they send out their spirit body, their electrical body outside of the crown. They do the exact thing that you just did, that you rehearsed. You walk up, grab a penny, put it in your pocket, and then you sit back down. Everybody get it? Yes. Okay. One, two, three. Gong. Hit the thing. Okay, great. Everybody breathe in, breathe out, recharge your spirit body. I'm providing them with a reason for this to be able to work. Like I just came up with it. There's not
Right.
necessarily a way to do it. But I have to be confident about how my delivery and how I'm saying, because
Yeah, of
I
course.
have to believe, so they
Yep.
believe. I'm like, okay, great. Let's do it again. One, two, three, gong. Great. Everybody does it. One more time. Last time. One, two, three, gong. Okay. All right, everybody, stand up and check your pockets. Who has an extra penny? Everybody's shuffling, and then finally this gentleman, Jeff. Jeff's like, "Oh, I have an extra penny. I've got 4 pennies. I've got 4 pennies." And everybody's like, "Oh my God."
Oh my God.
And
Crazy.
and we repeated that about 4 times in the Ogden training. No, 3 times. We repeated it 3 times because out of 3 times, 4 people got it. So 4 people,
Oh,
I think, out of 25 or 30 or something.
wow. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That is so fun.
Yeah, it was unreal. And
Oh.
we did the same in Sedona on the last training. And we
Hmm.
had 3 people got it while we were doing it intentionally. I was also somebody, I had 2 extra pennies though.
Oh, wow.
Um, and yeah, and then throughout the rest of the training, people were teleporting things, duplicating things, apporting objects. I have an amulet here.
Hmm.
This was given by
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the students.
Oh,
This is
beautiful.
one of the things that appeared in his pocket.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Just out of
S-
nowhere.
just out of nowhere, and it
Mhm.
first disappeared after, and then it reappeared when they were doing some Mindsight training. He heard like something hit the rocks. There was other people around. He looked around. This fell back, and he had his angels or something said to give it to me. So that's why he gave it to me. I
Oh,
treasure this.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh. So were the pennies teleporting or were they duplicating? Or is it
It's a
one
good
and the
question.
same in some sense?
It's a good question. I don't know. We didn't count the pennies because this time we got like 300 pennies, so that there'd be more. And people were sticking them to the walls as well, so I didn't spend time to count.
Right, right.
Things were duplicating, pennies were also disappearing. So 2 people had pennies disappear from their pockets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's incredible.
Yeah. This
Wow.
one was a very weird one. The training the training was beautiful because people were so in love with everyone. You know,
Yeah.
everybody was just so there was just such good energy, and
Oh, I love that.
it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and the place was amazing, and people were just so close to each other and connected, and we still are. We're still like talking so much.
Mm, good.
Um, yeah, it was really
That's
an experience.
That's incredible. So a lot of this is just from what it sounds like is it's not so much that you're teaching like how to move chi through your body or this or that. It's just intention, setting the intention to make these things happen. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, so that's one thing I really try to instill with everyone is it just depends on the frame that you have. So you can do it with chi. You can
Hmm.
absolutely do it with chi. But because I get a lot of energy workers, people that use chi,
Right.
and they can do it when their hands are close, and then when they move away, they can't really do it anymore. And
Mhm.
like, okay, but what if you're not doing it with chi? Try not doing it with chi, and all of a sudden they can do it.
Wow.
So the frame that people have is really, really important. I try to instill people with this idea of, and I think you might know as being a hypnotherapist, it's that no model is true, but some are more useful.
Right.
And I always come back to this, okay, because people ask, how should I do this? Is this happening because of this? And I'm like, well, guys, like, what have we been doing here for the last, 5, 6 days? It's like, it can happen in any, like you've seen things duplicate, you've seen things teleport. How do you explain this?
Hmm.
It can happen in any way, but be very careful and intentional about what frame you use. How do you explain this to yourself? Because that will either limit you or it will free you.
Right. I love that. This is so much more exciting than I was expecting it to. I mean, I knew it was going to be exciting, but this is just like going above and beyond all of my hopes and dreams. I will need to get onto one of your workshops because
Mhm.
it just sounds wonderful. Do
I'm
you,
curious,
yeah, go on.
what's making it more exciting than you expected?
Just the variation of everything that's happening and the level that it's happening at. Like all of these people are having these experiences. It's not just one or two here and there. That's really big. Um, like I said, I grew up having these experiences, but it was very secluded. It was just me. It was nobody to talk to, nobody to share these experiences with. And as I've been growing up and trying to relearn them and kind of connect with people, I've of course met amazing people like yourself and people at the Monroe Institute and people at Weird Experience and just all over the place. But it still feels kind of scattered, if that makes sense. So just like hearing about entire groups having these experiences, like I love that because it makes everything feel more real
Mm,
and um and I also believe that we're kind of shifting into this era where this stuff is going to happen easier and more often for people. And this to me is proof of that. So that's really, really exciting.
yeah, 100% this is going to happen more easily and more often. And that's what we're trying to do with this.
Yeah.
The 4 minute mile, um, it's going into the unconscious collective, the morphic field. So the more people that do this, the easier it's going to be. And
Yep.
each training I do, people go way, way, way further than the last, and we do
Right.
new things. So um, this is like one of our missions, one of our purposes of doing this is to be able to make this accessible to so that anybody can just do it easily, immediately.
Right. If you were to give a piece of advice for somebody just starting off, what kind of advice would you give them?
First off, to really just become aware that this is not something special. It's like it's not something that's a gift, like it's not a gift. Like you don't need to meditate, you don't need to do anything, you don't need to fast. This is like it's innate in every one of it, in each of us. We all have it. It's
Mhm.
completely, it's our birthright to be able to do this and to have this. And then to just take a fun and playful approach about it. Be curious,
Mhm.
have fun with it. If you're practicing it, if you're drilling it, might not be the best approach for you.
Mm.
It might be for some people. From what I've noticed, it's generally not. And find somebody to do this with. Have a partner.
Yeah.
Um, Best is to have three people. You can really go a lot further when there's three of you.
Mm.
Um, we did an intensive instructors training after the last one in Sedona, and we rented out an Airbnb, and there was four of us, and that's when we started sticking forks to walls and sticking boxes and cups to walls and stuff. Prior to that, we were only able to do pennies and quarters and cards, but you have
Right.
videos like you can see on my Instagram. We stick forks to walls, like both that way, like that way
Mhm.
and that way, like both sides and all sorts of other stuff. So
Wow.
have a few people. Doing it alone is more difficult, takes more time.
Mm. Right. But doable still.
Doable still, yeah, 100% doable. Yeah.
Awesome. It's one of the things that I'm hearing again and again and again is just to play with this stuff and have it to be fun. I think that was one of my blocks for a long time is because it was something that came so naturally to me growing up and then stopped. I kind of had grasped onto like, I have to make this work. How do I create this again? And that sets a block in itself and just
Yeah.
like allowing yourself to let go and learn to play and just have fun with it again. It's a big one.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of things that can get in the way, and one of the big ones is like feeling the need that you need to do this.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and also something I'd like to mention is like really realize whatever you're going through, myself, Dahlia, any of the other attendees, facilitators have also gone through at this instructor's house at the training. I stuck over 100 pennies on the walls, and they were just like on the walls, and like on the ceiling as well. And at one point, I started getting in my head, like, you know what? I wonder if it's the paint. Like, am I
Mm.
like pushing it into the paint, and that's what's
Right.
happening? And I stopped doing the sticking onto walls because we were doing other things. And the second last day or something, I'm like, okay, you know, let me stick again a penny to wall. And like by now, we've already done much bigger things. And I put it on the wall. I'm like, stick, stick, stick. Let go, it drops. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, stick, stick, stick. Let go, it drops. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm like, because I'm like, hold on, the paint. I need to get it. Like, I'll get it with the paint. And I'm like, I'm pushing so hard, and then I'm using two hands, and it just drops. And I freak out. I'm like, my first thought was like, oh my God, I lost it. My second thought was, oh my God, I was actually doing it.
Right. Oh my,
So doubts that you have or doubts that anybody has, like they're normal,
yeah,
totally normal.
yeah. There's a lot of grace that comes with that to just kind of put that aside and just allow yourself to keep playing with it. Because I think a lot of those doubts stop a lot of people.
Yeah.
What would be some bit of advice that you could give to somebody that's really doubting the progress that they're making, or maybe doubting even getting started with it?
If you have access to kids, have kids do it and watch them do it and
Mm,
then learn from them.
yeah,
Um, if you don't, the best thing that you can do is watch other people do it. In person would be better. Second best is going to be on by video.
yeah.
And I do think that there is something where if you put your awareness on something, your attention on something, you're able to pick up that stuff. And it's just with intention because it's
Hmm.
the same way with remote viewing. See you want to see what's in an envelope or what like some coordinates on an envelope refer to. It's just your intention and you're picking up information. Why would
Yeah.
you not be able to, pick up a skill or learn something by just having the intention to watch somebody to do it and you get better?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And then I had one more question, just kind of circling back to the mindfold stuff, because we were practicing it, um, so yesterday at the Weird Experience here in Broughton Hall, and there was a parapsychologist who's there to kind of watch us. So there's pressure now, and so I had the mindfold on, and my son had the mindfold on, and my son was like playing video games with his on, and like we felt like really proud and really excited. And then we took the mindfolds off, and he started just doing like intuitive perception, like sh having a deck of cards and being like, guess the top one. And we got every single one wrong. And I'm just
Mm.
like, well, now I'm just a fake. Like now we just feel like we've failed at everything. What is the difference with the mindfold and like intuitive perception with that? Or was that just a mental block that came up for both me and my son? Because he was the same. He got every single one wrong. And usually he's really good with that, but we just bombed it.
I think you're on the money with that. It's a mental block. If you have
Mm,
somebody that's watching you, that's supervising you, that's trying to make it happen, is trying to assess if you can do it, that's tough. That's difficult to deal with.
yeah,
This is why Dahlia is incredible at what she does because she does this in front of audiences and in front of
yeah,
people, and
yeah,
she does it consistently. She's very, very good at it.
yeah. She was at the Psy
Um,
Games, right?
yeah, yeah, she's at the Sci Games. So being able to perform under that sort of scrutiny is a big deal. And
Mhm.
it's like there's actually a phenomena that they've studied, and Dean Radin, who's lead parapsychology researcher,
Hmm.
um, he noticed that if if a psychic phenomena is being done, if there's people that are watching or that are supervising it that do not believe in it, that that disbelief will affect the results of the person doing it. And it doesn't even have to be that the person doing it is aware that there's somebody watching it.
Wow.
They could just be doing it with somebody behind a screen and they're not aware that somebody has disbelief. But absolutely, if somebody's sitting there next to you, and you feel that energy and you're tapping into that,
Mhm.
it's going to affect the results. So um it's very important that when you do this kind of stuff, you at the very least you might not believe, that's fine, but then pretend you believe.
Mm.
Because if you pretend you believe, that will be just as good. Like placebo effect is a real thing. If you pretend it's real, then it'll work for you. They've done countless studies on this. Pretending is just as good or almost as good as actually believing.
Right. Okay. So to go back to more of a basic understanding of the mindfold and just intuitive perception, is there a difference with it? Because with in my very, very little understanding with the mindfold, it feels like I'm actually seeing with my eyes, whereas intuitive perception, you just have to like guess what it is. So what's the difference with that you could explain?
If you pay attention to the words that you used with the mindfold, it's like you're actually seeing,
Hmm.
whereas with intuitive perception, it's like you guess. There's a frame, even that's very obvious and evident in the way you worded those two things.
Right.
So that's very telling about the
Yeah.
beliefs that you have about
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
And if all of this is beliefs,
Yeah.
then those beliefs are going to affect it. And it's a lot easier to believe that, hey, you're peeking through the mask, and that's creating that uncertainty bubble that we talked about. Whereas
Hmm.
to see what the next one is, it's like, well, kind of have to actually be, psychic to do that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Oh, the stab to the gut.
But there's hope. There's always hope because the beauty of this is it's easy to change your reality if you put yourself in the corresponding reality you want to be in.
Mm,
So surround yourself with people that are doing this, that believe in this, that you're practicing with. You
yeah.
know, step into spaces where this is normal and you're doing these things. and then they
Mhm.
just flourish. They develop so fast. Me
Right.
sticking pennies onto the wall and the forks and all that stuff, that happened in like 48 hours, and we had stuff on the ceiling as well. So like super fast, we're able to reshape our entire reality. And
Mhm.
it just required some intention and also three people, four people that,
Mhm.
had the same sort of intention.
Yep. Yep.
It's super easy. And that's something I want to get across as well. We are coming out of the age of like masters and gurus and lineage holders and secret skills and orders, secret schools and orders and these kinds of things where only a select few are given knowledge and an understanding. That's coming to an end. You don't need to study these things for 10 years, 20 years to be able to do these things. That's not necessary. And it shouldn't be necessary because what we're doing with these abilities is to elevate our consciousness, is to expand our consciousness, to become a more human society, more human beings. And
Mhm.
that's not going to happen if only, if we have tiny little secret orders of people doing it, or, this is only
Right.
passed on to lineages that are
Yeah.
up in the mountains and meditating. Humanity is not going to change that way. It's not going to
Right.
change that way. And
Yep.
and that's why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why Lidu is helping us. That's why there's other entities and teachers and beings that are helping us. And we're getting so much support and help with this happening. All of them are coming to help us on our trainings and to help our students open up.
Mm.
And this is happening because it's making it real and possible for everyone to do this.
Right.
So I really want to do away with this idea, this brainwashing that it's only for a select few or the chosen few or the gifted,
Mhm.
because that's not the case. And that's not how we're going to change society, humanity, our communities, our countries. That's not gonna be how we change. We're gonna change it by everyone doing this, adopting this, and this becoming part of everyone's day-to-day reality.
Right. Love that. Thank you. So practice and have fun with it is really how to get going and keep going as well and really develop those abilities and share it with friends and social media and get it out there. I think the more that we
Yeah,
share it as if it's, hey, this, went grocery shopping today, spun a side wheel, made dinner, like
yeah, yeah,
make it
yeah,
normal and natural. And people are like, wait, what? Oh, that's cool. It's not this big boo-boo thing. Maybe I'll give it a go.
yeah.
And yeah.
When you go grocery shop, you want to choose a fruit, like run your hand around it and see which energy feels better.
Yeah,
Little things like that.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, this is incredible. Do you do you have anything that you want to share for your business, workshops coming up, events, anything to kind of promote for yourself?
I'm sure people will find me if they
People.
need to. We've got a Utah training coming up in Salt Lake City. If anybody wants to wants to be that on that one, it'll be a 7 day event um, in April. But I'm sure if whoever needs to hear the messages is going to hear it and find out about us.
Oh, hold on. You just turned on my Amazon Alexa somehow. Echo off. It was so weird.
Yes, for demonstration.
Yeah. Um, oh man. Uh, Utah, April. 7 days. Does that include like accommodations and everything, or
Just lunch.
just
I
gonna
think they
show up?
can. Yeah, it's going to be with Ubiquity University. This one,
Oh
they're
wow.
taking care of. I think you can choose to get accommodation with that
Mhm.
through that. And there's going to be lunch. And yeah, we're going to be covering all the topics. We're going to be doing some 3 day trainings as well at some point. We haven't yet scheduled when and where. We have one in Australia for 10 days. We're doing it with Monroe Institute with 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Monroe at the beginning and then us.
Oh,
Um,
amazing.
We got one in Bali coming up as well in September. That's a 9-day training where people are going to get a bit of a cultural experience to check out Bali as well in Ubud.
Oh, nice.
Um, got a couple things in the pipeline.
Yeah, you're getting all over the world. It's incredible. What's been your favorite part of this whole journey?
The last training was incredible. The the feeling of just love from everyone was just incredible, and it's still
Mhm.
there. And everybody is just so kind and caring and loving with each other, and that has continued, a month later after it finished, and really made some incredible. It's about it's always about it always comes down to the people, and always, that's always the thing, and it's the people
Yeah.
that I've met and I've made connections with and that I'm friends with. That's ultimately why anything
Mm,
happens, right? It's the people.
yeah, excellent. Well, thank you, Alex. This has been just absolutely incredible, and I'm gonna grab my son and make him practice with me now. We're gonna go stick some things to walls and do all of that. Is there any last bit of advice that maybe we've skipped over or that you could think of to give the listeners, to give myself, to give my son?
Something I try to always mention, which is I think is really important, is the mission, the overarching mission of why we're doing this. It's about being able to bring telepathy, um, and making telepathy a commonplace thing, and have everybody
Mm,
develop their telepathic abilities. And once again, that has to do with people and has to do with love and connection, because people think of telepathy as being mind reading. It can be, but really it's about feeling other people, like truly feeling what people are about and who they are. And when you have that, when you are really resonating with that, and you're able to do that, to not just feel other people, but also you send your feelings out. We and I've mentioned this on other interviews, but like you and I have been having a conversation for an hour and a half or so. Neither of us has explicitly stated that we only wish the very best for the other person.
mm,
I assume I'm assuming that's the case for you as well, but
right.
it's probably true. And
Yes,
and that's definitely true for me.
right, of course.
But we've been speaking for an hour and a half. I've never explicitly said that, although it's definitely what I feel. I wish you the absolute very best. I hope
Mm,
you have the most amount of success with your podcast, with your work. I hope your
thank
son
you.
does incredibly well at school. I hope
Mm,
just pure love and just a bubble and happiness and everything for you.
thank you.
My
And
pleasure.
likewise to you.
Thank
Likewise
you.
to you. This is so exciting. And I can't wait to see how big this gets for you and what it turns into and the people that you touch in the world, just seeing it change.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you see, with this exchange, it's like imagine being able to say that all the time.
Mhm.
While I'm communicating information to you, I'm also able to emanate and exude that love for you and you to me.
Right.
How does the world change when you're doing that? When you're walking in the grocery store and you're
Mhm.
emanating that to everyone, how are they going to change? You know, how can the world not become an absolutely beautiful place when we have that?
Mhm. It's so true. I've I was recently interviewing somebody else with a very, very similar message. It's just, I think a lot of this is coming out more and we're really stepping into a beautiful era of love and shifts and magic and all of that. And it's very exciting to watch and be a
100%.
part of.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And we'll have to stay in touch and maybe I'll get out to Utah in April and see what your stuff's all about. But thank you so much for
Totally.
me and
Totally.
speak to you soon.
And thank you as well, Emma. Thank you for having me over and having this conversation and for allowing me to share this message. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And what you're doing is really important to be able to get messages from me and many other people
Mhm.
out to people. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Thank you. Well, we'll definitely speak to you soon. All right.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Bye.